Can we trust the U.S. Capitol Police to protect our leaders and our republic? The latest interview between constitutional attorney Ivan Raiklin and former USCP officer Tarik Johnson explores the answers. Let's uncover the truth together. For 23 years, Tarik Johnson served the U.S. Capitol Police, rising to lieutenant and protecting congressional leaders like the Speaker of the House. But what he witnessed within the USCP shook him to his core. A web of corruption, betrayal, and leadership failures that not only fueled the chaos of January 6, 2021, but now threatens the life of President Donald Trump. Can we ignore a whistleblower's warning when the stakes are this high? Let's start with January 6th, a day that cost lives: Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, Benjamin Phillips, Kevin Greeson, and Officer Brian Sicknick. Why was the Capitol so vulnerable? Johnson reveals a bombshell. Critical intelligence, documented in Report 21 TD 159 as early as December 20th, 2020, warned of potential violence. Yet Yogananda Pittman, then Assistant Chief of the Protective Services Bureau, and her deputy, Shawn Gallagher, withheld this from Chief Stephen Sund and Operations Head Chad Thomas. Why would leaders hide a threat? Had Sund received this, he could have secured National Guard support. Thomas could have recalled officers from telework. Instead, the Capitol was left defenseless, and Pittman and Gallagher were promoted. Pittman to acting chief, Gallagher to acting assistant chief, while Sund was fired and Thomas sidelined. Does this sound like justice? The cover-up didn't stop there. Whistleblowers faced coercion. Chad Thomas, eligible for retirement, was told by General Counsel Tobias, sign an NDA, barring talk of January 6 or lose your benefits. Why silence those who know the truth? Thomas signed, but Johnson refused to stay quiet. Subpoenaed in the Oath Keepers trial, he revealed how Oath Keepers helped him navigate the chaotic crowd, a truth the prosecution buried, likely because it clashed with their narrative. Meanwhile, Special Agent David Lazarus, assigned to Nancy Pelosi, allegedly perjured himself, falsely claiming he witnessed events to secure Stuart Rhodes' 18-year sentence. If officers were pressured to lie, what does this say about USCP's integrity? At the center of this scandal is Shawn Gallagher, whom Johnson dubs a modern-day Lex Luthor. Between 2013 and 2015, Gallagher, then a captain, allegedly led a theft operation, forging documents to steal thousands. Reported by Sergeant Rhonda Henderson, he faced a mere 15-day suspension, no prosecution, despite evidence of federal crimes. Why protect a criminal? Johnson believes Gallagher's role in dignitary protection gave him compromising information on congressional leaders, making him untouchable. Promoted to Assistant Chief of Operations, Gallagher now oversees Capitol security. Yet since Trump's election, guns have entered the Capitol 3 times, including a shocking breach on January 20th, 2025, during Trump's indoor inauguration, when an armed individual, possibly known to Assistant Chief Benedict, under Gallagher's watch, entered unscreened. Is Gallagher incompetent, or is the Capitol being left vulnerable by design? Johnson warns that Gallagher's failures make the Capitol a soft target, endangering Trump's life. If a corrupt leader controls security, what stops another assassination attempt? Consider other red flags. Before January 6th, expired riot helmets were collected without replacements, leaving officers exposed. Why strip defenses before a known threat? Pipe bombs found near the RNC and DNC that day, which Johnson suspects were a diversion to pull resources from the Capitol, remain unsolved, despite a $500,000 reward. Why hasn't the bomber been identified? The USCP's autonomy, requiring external agencies like the FBI to seek permission to operate inside the Capitol, shields potential misconduct. Does this independence protect the public or enable cover-ups? The stakes are dire. An attack on Trump could shatter our divided nation. Can we afford to wait for tragedy? Johnson calls for justice for January 6th victims, whistleblowers, and officers set up to fail. He fears that Gallagher could become USCP chief on May 5th, 2025, unless leaders act. Will Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune appoint a reformer like Stephen Sund, or bow to Gallagher's influence? Johnson's vision, if he led the USCP, is bold: restore trust, ensure officer safety, and hold corrupt leaders accountable. He believes many would resign the moment an honest chief took office. My fellow Americans, we must act. Demand that Congress investigate Pittman's alleged perjury and Gallagher's communications. Subpoena DeBias's records. Support whistleblowers like Johnson, who risk everything for truth. Alert Trump's team to these dangers before the next USCP chief is chosen. Will you stand for transparency or let corruption fester? The Capitol's safety, Trump's life, and our future hang in the balance. Share this truth, raise your voice, act now before the next crisis strikes. Thanks for listening.